Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing very well. We've got a little treat for you for this podcast. Actually, it's a podcast series. We've done them in the past and we've decided to do it again because we got a lot of positive feedback from the other podcast series we did on boundaries and setting boundaries in your business. So this time, we're going to be doing a 3-part quickie series on systems, essential systems that you need for your design business.
Yes. We just thought we are always banging on about systems. You hear Chris and I talk about it all the time. It's what the Academy is basically made up of. And we thought, well, I wonder, does everybody know exactly the essential systems that a design business needs? So let's identify them for you. So this is a quick introduction to the systems that you will need to have a really beautiful, successful, thriving graphic design business.
Yeah, because we really see systems are essential to freedom in your business and freedom in many different ways, whether it's financial freedom, life freedom, time freedom, creative freedom. Systems are your route to that. And so, yes, like Don said, we're always talking about systems. We're very excited about systems, but you're probably thinking, what are these systems? What are you talking about? So let's just unpack them. We're going to keep it nice and short and quick, and we'll do an overview. We're going to do 5 per podcast episode in this series for you.
Yeah. All right. System number 1. So it is a financial forecasting system. So that minute that you decide, I want to run a graphic design business, let's work out how much is this business going to cost you. Okay, so it ensures that you have enough cash flow in the bank. It incentivizes you to do something about it if you don't. It helps you to have a starting point and then an end game. So I'm going to start my business with this much of a cash injection. Could be as little as $50, could be a lot more than that. And then this is how much I need. The facts. No sugarcoating it. I need this much money to pay for my URL, my website hosting, my accountant, my X, my Y, my Z. This financial forecasting system is critical for you to understand what it takes for you to operate a functioning graphic design business.
Yeah, and we know spreadsheets and mathematical formulas and all that, money stuff can be really intimidating, but you must get across it. If you're going to be successful in business, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be a successful business owner, you need to be across your numbers. And we love to make it simple. We love to make it fun and beautiful as well. But financial forecasting can be really, really fun. It actually can be fun because, like Don said, it really incentivizes you. You're like, okay, I'm looking ahead. Right now, it's February. I've got X amount in the bank and I'm thinking this is going to come in. It is a little bit of guesswork. This is coming in, and I want to pay myself that. I have to pay this expense and this expense and this expense. And then you look ahead and go, what's going to happen at the beginning of March? What's going to happen at the beginning of April? Where is my financial position going to be even in October? So you can see at a glance what's going to happen. And then you can do something about it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
We want to be able to do something about it because if you don't know, how are you going to do something about it? If it's just like you're just blind.
Exactly. What you don't know, you don't know. And one of our favorite things to say is what can be measured can be managed. And the financial forecasting system is a point of measuring every cent that you will need in your business. What's coming in, what's going out. And when you know what all of those things are, you can manage it and you can do something about it, like Chris said. There's nothing worse than being in a business where you are flying by the seat of your pants and you have no clue what type of income you can expect in October when we're sitting in February. Well, we do because we've done our financial forecasting and we've done it with a system that is sexy. And I just want to say that one of the most beautiful testimonials that we get from our Academy students and our one-to-one clients is that prior to working with us, spreadsheets and working on your money was kind of like dirty words. Nobody wanted to do it. And then when they get their hands on these spreadsheets, they're like, never, ever, ever could I have imagined that spreadsheets could be so beautiful, so highly functional, so easy to use. So we promise you that doing these type of systems, they don't have to be a drag. They don't have to be like, do I have to hang out in this space for the next 3 hours? I don't want to. I don't want to do this. When you get your systems really carefully honed and done, and they're beautiful and they're functional, it just becomes a pleasure to do this type of work in your business.
Yeah. And you can do that yourself as well. Make sure whatever system you're using right now, make it beautiful, make it aesthetically pleasing to you. And that will help. That will help you want to get into that space regularly, because this is not a set and forget thing. You really do need to make sure that you are addressing this regularly. It could be weekly, it could be monthly. You need to be on top of it. And this helps you ensure that you've got a business model that is going to work. And that's what we make sure our designers who do the academy are going to have. They're going to have a working business model. It sets the pricing for you, because you know that you can't survive unless you charge a certain amount. So it's all an ecosystem, but it's very important that you are forecasting. If you're doing anything with your numbers, make sure you're forecasting ahead, to plan ahead. Yes.
Bringing us to system 2, audience growth tracking system and a marketing system. Again, coming back to that quote, what can be measured can be managed. So there's no point in marketing and doing all these beautiful reach outs to clients if we don't know what is landing and what is working.
Yes. And sometimes it's hard to know what to track and what metrics to track. Just keep it really simple at first. If you're not sure what, tracking your growth, tracking the amount of people who are coming in the door. Once again, we do have systems for this in the academy that we share with our students. But it's very important to know that your marketing efforts are actually leading to something. Otherwise, you're just throwing spaghetti at a wall, hoping something will stick. And, are you actually getting qualified leads? Are you spending hours and hours and hours on this thing? Might be Instagram, for example, or you might be doing Google ads and throwing money at the problem, and you're not actually measuring and tracking what's coming through and the conversion rates. Yeah, but without tracking, you may be putting all your efforts into the wrong area completely.
Absolutely.
So we show you exactly how to do all that. So knowing what to track is important too. Sometimes we can track too much and be overwhelmed. So we have a system for that, which is specifically designed for graphic designers. What do you need to track? How do you ensure consistent flow of income coming into the door? So this is very, very important, to have an audience growth and tracking system, making sure that you're tracking your marketing efforts. So important.
It's so important, because otherwise, like Chris was saying, you could be just throwing spaghetti at the wall. And you really, really need to understand that we don't want to be making assumptions. We want to know definitively what's happening with our marketing budget, what's happening with our marketing efforts. We want to know definitively. It's all about understanding our numbers. Again, what can be measured can be managed.
Now, system number 3, which does lead in from system 2, and it's in that marketing space. And a lot of systems will integrate, because it is an ecosystem that you've got to get humming along here. But system 3 is a lead generation system. So by that we mean, are you getting leads into the door that are actually aligned to you? Are you not getting enough leads? How many are you actually getting? So we want a system that's going to encourage quality leads on repeat and that are aligned with your offerings and your business model.
Exactly. And this system is attracting leads. So this is the system that is in place for you to actually create the generation. That's what we're saying. Lead generation system. That's what this system's all about. How are you getting people in your door? And we don't just set up a beautiful Instagram feed and a beautiful website and build it and they will come. We have to understand what are the actionable steps that we are taking as a lead generation system in order for those beautifully aligned clients to come to us. This system is so essential for that, to have that on repeat, to be able to make sure that you're constantly reaching out to the right audience.
What is the plan?
Then what's the plan? Leading us to system 4.
So system 4 is all about lead conversion tracking. So it's a system just to track which leads are converting. So the system 3 that we're talking about is, what are you doing to get leads into the door, and they want to be aligned leads. And then system 4 is tracking how they're converting. So are you getting heaps of interested people, but then your conversion rate is just really crappy? You know, it's like, oh gosh, I've spent so much time meeting with people and sending out quotes and this and that. Like, what is happening there? So it's really important to track exactly how many of your leads are converting into actual signed projects and dollars into the door every month.
Exactly. And it's a percentage. What percentage of your leads are converting? Then when you can look at that and you can look at the different strategies, the different lead generating systems that you've been using, you can say, well, that lead generating system is not working as effectively as that one. So you can start to manage it. Again, what we measure, we can manage. So we can say, okay, that's an effective lead generating system because it's a really high percentage conversion rate. We wouldn't know that unless we were tracking this system. So it's essential. These are all linked in, like Chris said before, they're all integrated. But it's essential that A, you have this lead generating system, then B, you have a secondary system that tracks it, that makes sure that that is actually working for you.
And lead generation is really just a fancy pants term for getting clients or getting potential clients into the door. And we talked about that in our last podcast episode. We shared how we got our very first clients, and they were lead generation systems, what we were doing there. And it was done on repeat. So system 4, just to track, is how many of those leads are actually converting into projects.
We love this little tracking system because you can see at a glance what is effective. And that's what business is all about, right? We're not going to waste time, energy, and money into systems that are not effective for us. So I love this system. It highlights where the juice is. This is where we should be putting our time and efforts. And this is it. And when you do that, that elevates. So yeah, it's a great little system.
Yeah, and it'll highlight stuff for you like, okay, we had 10 new leads last month and 8 of them came from Instagram and 10% of the Instagram ones converted. And then 2 came from, say, LinkedIn, and both of those converted. And you can start to make assumptions about that and test it. Test it next month and go, okay, well, I'm going to really ramp up my LinkedIn next month and see if that makes a difference. So you really do need data over a period of time to really see what's going up, what's going down, what's happening in the big picture. So you can start to make educated assumptions about what is going to happen in the future, because it can become like a science and an art. You can actually predict what's going to happen over a given month into the future.
Absolutely, especially for months that when you've been tracking for a long time, you'll be able to see, oh, we have a bit of a dip in December because it's Christmas time, everybody's on holidays or, whatever. Or we have an increase in December because the universal deadline is Christmas and all designers are really busy. But you will be able to not make an assumption about that. You'll be able to see, okay, this is what's happening there. This is where I can actually get new clients at this time. New clients are around at the beginning of the year, or I'm finding that there are a lot of new clients around March. That's when I'm getting a lot of conversions. So it really is essential for you to be able to see that at a glance, because that's when you know I can amp it up. I can amp it up right then, and you know that your efforts will be rewarded. That's the key.
Yeah. See how all these are integrating into each other. So if you're going to be looking at how your leads are converting, so potential clients are converting into an actual client, then you're going to look back and go, what was their pathway? It was this particular audience growth strategy. So that was system 2, audience growth strategy. It was that particular one. It wasn't the one I thought it was, or it might be. So it's very important to have the knowledge around it.
And the last one for this episode is our briefing system. Every designer, every creative has a briefing system of some way, shape, and form. And this, again, integrates from the lead generation system, where it's an important part of that journey for the client. Because if they don't feel safe and feel great about the whole process, you won't convert them. This is linked in with the conversion process. It's at this point where they will convert to a beautiful client or not. So it's really important that you see it as a part of that process as well. And it's a big one. We have a multifaceted 6-part briefing system that we share with everybody in the academy, and it's really considered. It's got lots of moving parts to make sure that you are covered as the designer, that you are getting the right intel for you to be able to quote effectively, because that's a part of the lead generation as well, to be able to quote effectively.
Yes, it's such a fine balance with briefing, because it's something that designers can get really frustrated about when you put so much time and effort into briefing and then the client doesn't proceed. So it's a very fine balance of making sure the client feels really seen, really heard, but you're just gathering the intel that you need in the most efficient way possible to get the quote out. Because we don't want to be wasting your time. We don't want to be wasting their time. So it's a delicate balance. But if that's one tip that we can give you, is to shorten that initial process before you quote. Because we don't want you to be spending hours and hours briefing clients, then quoting.
Yeah, it's essential. It's so important. You've nailed it, Chris. Has to be short, has to be succinct, has to be clear. Lots of clarity around that initial briefing process in order for you to quote effectively and efficiently. And if you nail the brief and nail the quote, we have found that the conversion rate is much higher, because they can see exactly what you're going to do, the transformation you are going to deliver, and the fees align with that transformation. And there's no big miss, like, I didn't want that. I asked for this, but you're offering me this whole package, but I didn't ask for all of that. I just want this bit. Or you've only given me this bit and I want this whole thing. So how much will that be? And so see how trust is at play here. If you can create a quote from a brief that is really, really clear and on the money, clients will trust you. They'll trust that they've been heard, which is essential.
It's a huge part of the trust process. It could be called the trust process, the whole briefing system. And as we said, there's multi-facets to a brief, and that's essential as well, that it's a system. A brief is a system. It's not just like a one and done thing. It needs to be phased. It needs to be broken down into sections. So that's what we cover. We have such a big system. We call it the ultimate briefing system, because it's got so many facets to it that you can draw from, that you can customize and use as your own. It's a really thorough briefing system that we have in the academy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Right. And I really love, Chris, that you said it could be called the trust process.
Yeah.
I love that so much, because that's what it's all about.
That's what it is.
Right there, this whole process, once they have actually reached out to engage with you, this is the opportunity that you have to make sure that they're seen and heard and create that trust. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and it follows right through to the end of the design process.
Yeah.
That trust that you gather in the brief, because they're trusting you. You're holding that information so carefully, nurturing it along to get this beautiful result. So the briefing system is a trust process, a trust system. Yeah.
Yes,
all right.
I love it. Love it. Okay, well, that's the end of our little 5.
That's the first 5.
The first 5. We can't wait to give you the next 5. We love this whole series idea. With the feedback that we got from the first series is just so exciting for us. So that's why we're excited to do it again.
All right. Let us know if you have any feedback, any thoughts, any ideas. We love to hear from you. Send us a DM in Instagram. We love to hear from you in Instagram. Check us out. You can search for Design and Prosper and find us there.
Yeah. All right. See you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.